Outrage, the favorite pastime of some Americans. They wake up in the morning and wonder how they could feel offended today. They go to sleep at night wondering if they have fulfilled their offended quota. Throughout the day, they nitpick and watch and listen to see where their next offense will come from. They have their noses in Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat, and other things I can't think of, instead of looking up for a change and seeing what the world is really like. If offense and outrage were an Olympic sport, the US would be #1 every time. If offense and outrage could earn us all $1 every time, this country would be the richest in the world. How else can anyone get attention? If you're not offended or outraged, then you just don't belong in this country. In fact, you don't even belong on this planet, alien. We need to unite together in offense and outrage to confuse ourselves even more. Outrage, the sweet sense of outrage. An ode to outrage. Nothing will ever compare. On a brighter note, let's jump straight into the problem. Who comes up with the rules? Who says what you could wear, how you can look, and when you can look that way, and in what event you can look that way, and for how long you could look that way, and what circumstances merit you looking that way? It turns out it's not any one person, it's not the government, it's not some sort of group or cultural police. I kid you not, it is offended people. Well, offended people, you can definitely draw strength from this video. This will fuel your rage for a moment, because it doesn't agree with you. I am presenting you with your life's blood, your Wheaties, and fiber so you can digest it all. Appropriate means to take exclusive possession of, to set apart for, or assign to a particular purpose or use, to take or make use of without authority or right. Pair that with culture, and you get cultural appropriation. It's the act of adopting elements of an outside, often minority culture, including knowledge, practices, and symbols without understanding or respecting the original culture and context. All my life I've been told that America is the melting pot of the world. So when you get a whole melting pot of people with different backgrounds, languages, and cultures, and yes, you should learn English, this will end up a give and take situation. Throughout American history, there has been no cultural appropriation. Suddenly now, there is cultural appropriation. Stealing other people's cultures. But how can you steal someone else's culture if they live in America and they brought their culture with them to America, the melting pot of the world? It's completely senseless. But people ran out of things to get offended by in politics, so now it's about culture as well. And then came movies, then the hair, then a bunch of stuff that I really don't care about. So I compiled a short list to show the hypocrisy behind cultural appropriation, as not seen through the eyes of the offended marshmallows. Restaurants: Italian, Mexican, French, Romanian, Polish, Greek. The people that work in these restaurants, cooks, servers, managers even, are not all from those countries. So why do restaurants get a free pass when those people are not from those countries and are not appreciating this food as they are required by the offended people who cry out cultural appropriation? According to the definition that I just read, you must have an appreciation for the culture and not profit from it, and yet they are getting paid in these restaurants. And they don't care really what kind of restaurant it is as long as they have a job. Why is nobody saying that only people who are of these nations that this food is made from are allowed to go to these restaurants? Mexican people should go to their Mexican restaurants, Greeks to their Greek restaurants, Italians to their Italian restaurants, and stop selling these things in stores. No more spaghetti, no more tacos, nada. Because even stores benefit from this. How dare they? This is a Romanian blouse. It's called a ye, spelled Y-E. The symbols and patterns are exclusive to the country of Romania. Though the Ukraine and Russia have something similar, their patterns and designs are very different. If you want an authentic Romanian blouse, it may cost a few $100s, because no machines or modern technology is used. It is cut by hand, sewn by hand, and the design and symbols are done by hand. Tom Ford is a famous fashion designer. He openly admitted that the blouse he designed, that Adele is wearing, was inspired by the Romanian blouse. The blouse she's wearing does not have the traditional symbols, which are very important, because symbols mean something. He used the design for inspiration to market and sell it at a few $100s himself. So why wasn't the Romanian community outraged? Simply put, they have more sense. There are some celebrities in Hollywood who have profited off of this too, but it never mattered to them, because this is still a traditional Romanian blouse and no one can ever take it away from them. There were never any complaints. Why weren't the offended, triggered people of the US all over this? This is clearly cultural appropriation. He didn't care about their culture. If he did, he would have done the blouse right. And he's using it to make money off of it. There's no appreciation there. Hypocrisy again. Black Friday was exclusive to America day after Thanksgiving, where serious sales happen and people go nuts. Suddenly, other countries decided to pick up on this and take an American custom exclusively in America and also have Black Friday and yes, even Cyber Monday. Why is no one crying out cultural appropriation? This is exclusive to the US, so what's up? I'll tell you what's up. No one cares. It's no big deal. The prom, exclusive to the US. And when I say exclusive to the US, it's because they are very specific in the traditions of the prom. A few countries decided to implement this prom, and it's picking up momentum. Slowly, but it's there. Before you all cackle at me, desiring to tell me that there are countries who have their own version of the prom, I just want to say they don't. This is from a travel diary of someone who went to Germany, and they do have something called an Abi-Ball. It is a formal event, it is a ball, it is not a prom. The way that Americans do their proms are not incorporated in this because it is not an American prom, just like the British are trying out. Even though this article is in German, you can use Google Translator and translate this for yourself. These are interviews from German students about their ball, where they do the waltz. We don't waltz here. And I know other countries do have balls and special events, but they are not the prom. So, why is no one crying out against Britain for taking an American tradition and using it, making money off of it, publicizing it? Where's the outcry? Clearly nowhere, because no one cares. It's not a big deal. Cinco de Mayo. Going back to my definition I just read, cultural appropriation means that you benefit off of someone else's culture. You make money off of it. You take their culture. No one really cares in the US why we celebrate Cinco de Mayo. They just like to go out drinking and eat a lot of Mexican food. And I would know this because I used to work in a restaurant where they would make Mexican food and have Cinco de Mayo stuff out, but they did not care a penny why it was celebrated, just that they got customers in. And this article gets to the point. So why is Cinco de Mayo celebrated with such fanfare in the United States? It's because of marketing. No one is appreciating the culture, just like we are told we have to do in order to wear the clothes and eat the food and yada yada. There is absolutely no appreciation here by a lot of people. They just want to drink, and businesses want money. That's all it is. St. Patrick's Day. We love the Irish because they are not in our faces about their culture, and they are respectful and nice, and they respect the laws of this country, and overall they're just cool and happy people. So we love them. In fact, all of America decided to make this a national holiday. St. Patrick's Day is rooted in religion, about a missionary who they branded a saint. The color was traditionally blue, not green. It's such a big deal that there are parades where everything is just about green. Every year in Chicago, the river is dyed green. You see products like these sold in every single store, including CVS and Walgreens. Businesses really go to town on this because they make bank. It's all about marketing and money. No one really cares about what it's about. They just want to drink, go out, have fun, and celebrate with their fellow Irishmen because we love the Irish. And the Irish don't complain. And this one is my absolute favorite. And I hope I trigger everyone out there. Alexandro Querevalu. He makes one amazing Native American, doesn't he? I mean, look at this picture. Just incredible. Well, guess what? He is not even close to Native American. He was born in Peru and he lives in Poland. But he likes Native Americans, and so he decided to use this as a selling point for his music, which I support and buy. He has no ties to Native Americans, no bloodline to Native Americans. He just decided that he just likes the culture, so he's going to dress up as a Native American chief and play the instruments, and he does so well. I totally support him, and I hope he never stops. Nobody from other countries are complaining. Only people here in America complain all day long. Keep rocking, Alexandro. Then there's the ever-famous Michael Jackson. This goes beyond cultural appropriation. I mean, this guy went from black to white. And you know what? White people don't care. He could be blue and purple for all we care. If he wanted to be white, he wanted to be white. It's not a big deal. People still went to his concerts. People still went to his shows and supported him. So why has there been no backlash lately about his skin being white? And don't give me the vitiligo excuse. I know very well about that. Hotel Transylvania, about Dracula. In fact, every other movie about Dracula, every other story. Bram Stoker's Dracula. Dracula the show. Dracula the untold story. Dracula here, Dracula there, Dracula everywhere. The story of Dracula is rooted in Romania, in a region called Transylvania. No, Transylvania is not a country on its own. It is a region inside of Romania. Now people are making money off of the story of Dracula. Why is no one else crying out that this is cultural appropriation? Because it is. People are benefiting off of this, making money off of this, and this is exclusive to Romania. You know why? Because Romanians don't care. Blackamoor. This royal suddenly got in trouble for wearing a pin that she wears all the time. So the Italian who made this had to step up and say something. He said, "We made the brooch," he told Italian media when the scandal erupted. "A whole lot of nonsense has been written and I wish to defend an object that is rich in history and unique to Venice." The brooch depicts a Moorish Venetian prince. In Italy, when you see a piece of jewelry depicting a black man, you don't immediately think racism, like Americans do. I added that one in myself. We can't use modern day categorizations about racism when we're talking about objects that were crafted during the early modern period. He goes on to say, "In many works created in Europe in that period, blacks were represented in degrading ways, often as half-naked slaves or servants in chains. But in Venetian decorative art, you frequently see black people depicted as slaves or servants. In an interesting and unusual way, it's in the Venetian jewelry that a shift can be seen. We start to find pieces with blacks depicted as princes. The blacks in these pieces were essentially being depicted as aristocrats. And over the years, these objects became one of the city's most important symbols, symbolizing to Venetians their openness to other cultures." So now that we've established that offended people are once again stupid, what if you get a gift like this from a black person who takes pride in giving you this gift? Does that mean you can't wear it anymore just because it's, I don't know, black? No one said anything about this before, but since Meghan Markle came on the scene suddenly, this was very bad. Because, oh no, it represented a Venetian prince, and a black one too. Though that has nothing to do with this list, I just wanted to add that one in. Costumes. This article is saying to think twice about wearing Black Panther costumes, and this is aimed at white people. Because suddenly now a movie is cultural appropriation. And yet this little boy is wearing a Superman outfit, and Superman is white. So why does he get to wear a Superman outfit, but a white kid can't wear a Black Panther costume because he wants to be a Black Panther? And Wonder Woman. Anyone can be Wonder Woman. Not only can anyone be Wonder Woman, this lady decided that she did not like Wonder Woman being white. Here's why. She says although she likes Gal Gadot because she is amazing and wonderful and she keeps praising her, but it's not enough because she is white. She says here, "My point is that Wonder Woman was really awesome, but it could have been even more awesome if we'd been shown a woman in the lead role who offered a little more diversity. Yes, I know Gal Gadot is Israeli, but she is still very light-skinned. So to her, diversity means being black and white. That's really the one thing I noticed with black people is that to them, diversity does not mean what diversity means. Different cultures, pretty much. It means black and white. So you can have a massive picture full of diverse people. Let's say one from Poland, one from Russia, one from England, one from America, one from France, one from Germany. That's diversity because they all come from different cultures. But to a black person, that is not diversity because no black people are included. So to them, it's about skin color, not the true meaning of diversity. But moving on, she says, yes, I know she has dark hair, but what if it had been short or kinky instead? The character of Diana is supposed to be crazy strong, so I really wanted to see some actual muscles. Earlier, she said that she wanted to see Serena Williams. I would have loved to see a dark-skinned black woman in the role of Wonder Woman. I thought about how cool it would have been to not only inspire little white girls everywhere to aspire to superhero-dom, but how extra cool it would have been to offer that inspiration to young ladies of color. Wonder Woman goes way, way back. She is not a new character, she is a very old character, and she has always been white, so why would you want to change that? What if we just change Black Panther to a white person? You know, so we can inspire white guys and white little boys. The outrage would have been apocalyptic. And if this article was reversed and was written by a white person to a black character, that person would probably have been taken to court and would have been destroyed by the black community. The Union Jack. I have seen Americans with these phone cases. This is the British flag, not the American flag. What business does it have doing in America? The bottom line is no one cares. So why aren't the offended people of America angry that the Union Jack is flying around as decoration items and fashion items? Like these t-shirts. Again, not only do people not care, it just goes to show the hypocrisy. Offended people pick and choose what they want to be offended about. only when it suits them, only when they could publicize it, only when they can get people to feel sorry for them, only if they can start up chaos. But with everything I just mentioned so far, none of these seem to matter to them. Weddings. The white wedding dress is fairly new actually. It's about 120, 140 years old, this thing about the white wedding dress, and it's exclusive to the West. For thousands of years, people have always worn their best fabric, their best color, and their best style. It has never been white. I did a little research on this. I'm not going to put it up because this is not about white wedding dresses, but it's always been different colors. So a queen decided to wear white, suddenly everyone's up in a frenzy and they need to have a white wedding dress or they'll die. But why is it that no one is crying out cultural appropriation when the Japanese wear a white wedding dress? In this picture, this is a Lebanese bride. A Western white wedding dress is not exclusive to Lebanon, the Middle East, or any other place in the world other than the West. Where's the outcry here? Or here, this Japanese couple in Japan are having a Japanese wedding with a white wedding dress and tuxedos. Where's the outcry? Well, there isn't one because people who are offended, especially in America, don't care about things that are not part of their agenda. Henna. There are henna parlors all over America now. I see girls with henna constantly, and they are not even Indian. And I bet you they have no idea about the history of henna. They're not appreciating it. They're appreciating the design, but they don't know anything about the background. Why is no one crying out cultural appropriation? In fact, these parlors are happy to do it. Part of my family is Indian, and everyone I have met and their friends never once complained about non-Indians getting henna. So the slides I have showed you so far, except for the blackamoor slide, all have to do with everything that offended people do not complain about. If we are going to take anything literally, according to the definitions I gave, even those people who are offended are culturally appropriating on a daily basis, beginning with restaurants and moving on to stores. St. Patrick's Day, Cinco de Mayo, I bet you they celebrate those too, and they don't even have a clue that they are culturally appropriating as well. So that brings me to this unfortunate story. It made the headlines because apparently she is culturally appropriating. Oh no. And for once, someone had the guts to say, I'm not sorry. And this girl did not apologize. Thank you, smart girl. My friend who is Guatemalan likes to wear Asian clothes, and she never once got any problems from it. And this was back in the early 2000s though. This article showed Justin Bieber with matted hair, aka dreadlocks. And this person said, a friend of mine recently brought up the opposite scenario. If white people wearing braids, dreadlocks, and other hairstyles dubbed as black hairstyles, then what does black people perming their hair say? Are black people appropriating white culture? I've heard the arguments for both sides. One side says it's not the same as cultural appropriation as much as it is about the pressure to look professional. So when is it okay to get inspiration from other cultures? Is it ever not okay? Who makes the rules? Good question. The offended people make the rules, clearly. What about Beyonce? This is not her natural hair texture, style, or hair color. I have seen earlier pictures of her, and this is not normal to her. This is a depiction of a white person's hair because white people have blonde hair. Yet, why is no one else crying out cultural appropriation? What about Cardi B? That's absolutely not her hair or texture. And I bet it took a while to do this to get it to look like that, like a white person's hair. Or her, Black China. No, just no. Oprah. Hate me if you must, but I'm adding her in here. Her hair is not naturally like this. It doesn't bounce like this. It takes products to make it look like this, like a white person's hair with these kind of waves. So why are people not complaining that this is appropriation? Because no one cares. Normal people do not care. Unoffended people do not care. What's her name? Nicki Minaj. Again, not normal. What about the Jonas family? Nick Jonas married Priyanka Chopra. I don't know how to say her last name. But she's Indian, born in India, and his entire family came to India for the wedding. And they're all wearing traditional Indian clothing. Why is no one crying out cultural appropriation? It seems like there are rules to when you can wear this stuff, say this stuff, do this stuff, and then other times you can't. On top of that, because she's born in India and she is Indian, isn't she also appropriating because she's wearing a Western wedding dress? I mean, this is the hypocrisy. It's so ridiculous. Throughout history, when someone got married into a different culture, they adopted that culture. So I'm well aware of how this goes. But I just find it odd that today, with so many offended people about cultural appropriation and every little thing, that someone is not speaking up and saying that suddenly now this is cultural appropriation too. You never know anymore. This stuff only comes up in the media if it benefits someone else's offended mind. So the only thing I can say and want to say to everyone is wear whatever you like, go wherever you like, and do whatever you like. Because in America, you don't culturally appropriate anything. This is the country where all goes.
Educate yourself!